do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. We're gonna give it another shot today. We're gonna give it another shot. We're gonna see if we could get this whole operation back on track. I don't know what happened, but Monday we went off the rails hard, and I have a theory. I've been thinking about it ever since. I swear by it. It happens every year. I know what is going on, but Monday we went off the rails. Maybe even venturing into territory where for the first time in a very long time, I got done with the show and was like, I'm not sure I'm very proud of that product. That's upsetting to me. Not happy about it. But here's what I think's happening. Welcome in, everybody. Callers, you're coming up. Here's what I think is going on. I genuinely mean this. We're far enough away from spring ball and blue and gold that it's old news. We beat that horse to death. It's whatever. But we don't have the light at the end of the tunnel of Miami to really get the buy-in yet, where everybody's ramping up and zoned into football mode in their brain yet. That's still too far away down the road. And spring ball's already happening. It's old news. We are right in the middle. It's college football no man's land right now. And I just think it messes with everybody's head. And you want football, you're here on a football show, but we get goofy because I sincerely think that's what's happening. And you see it with the media too. You see it with the media too. Everybody's getting extra clickbaity, extra stretching their angles a little more, like trying to generate stuff. It's just a weird part of the calendar. It's a weird part of the calendar. And I just think, I don't know what happened Monday. I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy with it. And that's frustrating to me. So we're going to see if we could do better today. Really interesting stuff here on recruiting. Really, really interesting. Like you guys are typing it in. It's like Notre Dame's sitting there at number 2. And, you know, you can even, callers, I'm coming to you. There's an argument to be made that you could say Notre Dame's probably the number 1 class because USC has like 48 kids in their class. Half of them are 3 stars. And if you average it out like per guy, Notre Dame would be above them. But the fact that they literally have like 27, 28 guys has them ahead of Notre Dame. So it's interesting where we sit because you could argue they're number 1 or number 2, depending on how you want to look at it. And I don't know if that really matters. Haven't we learned enough every summer? It doesn't matter. Like every day that I log in and we're number 1 or 2 in the summer, I feel good about myself. And then when it matters, you drop in the rankings. I'm just saying it's interesting where we sit and then looking at what people's concerns are and like who's getting a free pass on the staff, where are the good wide receivers. Like it's always, there's always going to be Notre Dame football recruiting anxiety. It just doesn't matter where we're at in the cycle. It doesn't matter where we're ranked or whatever. There's just always going to be that. And that's fine. That's totally, totally fine. And especially this time of year, what else you got to yell about? Like, you know, so I don't have an issue with anybody questioning that stuff. It's totally, you know, fair. And this time of the year, that's what you're going to get. So I don't know what you make of all that. And so here's kind of, let me just do this. Here's where my mind's at with this recruiting thing. You guys are getting real specific about, I know Andrew's like, I want some D linemen in here. I want these wide receivers. What are we doing? Whatever. In general, here's where my mind's at right now with this recruiting thing. And I'm going to zoom out and make it a little more generalized than specific. Two things I'm looking for now. I've been making a big deal of that composite ranking. And I've been saying that this is a change for Notre Dame to have 15 4-star composite guys and 1 3-star guy. I like that ratio. Number one, whoever the position group is or whatever, can Notre Dame maintain that 4-star kind of area as this class goes along? And my thinking on it is, maybe they got all those 4 stars right away because those are the guys really invested in Notre Dame, really want to go to Notre Dame. It's easier to get them on board than some other guys because they're Notre Dame fits and they want to commit early and do all that. So I want to see, as this gets harder and the top level guys on your board it's getting to crunch time. Everybody's offering them good stuff. They're going on trips, NIL, whatever. Does it get harder to land those 4 stars when you get further down the road and more of those guys are higher level guys playing the field, getting dating around, seeing what's out there for them? Does it become harder to keep that 4-star? And then you go, oh man, these top 2 or 3 guys at a position we wanted are 4 or 5-star guys and they committed elsewhere. Now we got to bump down. That's one question I have is, are you going to be able to maintain that level of recruit throughout the rest of this class? Or did you 4-star heavy it now and it's going to get weighted kind of down as spots fill up? That's question number one. Question number two is very simple. And it's the same issue Marcus Freeman has had every single year. Are you going to be able to maintain the commitments at the top level guys? Are you going to lose them? And that remains to be seen. And we don't have the answer yet. And so, but that is a problem Marcus Freeman's got to figure out. And in a bit of sick irony, my theory is, I think Marcus Freeman got burned early because he's so straight up and genuine and like what he thinks everybody else operates that way and they just don't. I think he really did think for a long time he was Deuce Knight's surrogate father, like that kind of relationship or whatever. So like it's ironic to me that it's like one of the things we like most about Freeman may be burning him on some of this recruiting. He's so genuine and upfront, and you expect the people you're dealing with to be that way, and then it doesn't end up that way. And so maybe he learned some tough lessons there. So those are my number 1 and 2 little things with recruiting. And then you could get into like what we need specifically at the D line or whatever. And then with wide receiver, obviously, which is an ongoing thing for us, it seems forever. So I don't know. Oh no, Dr. John, pinched nerve. How you going to go play scratch golf with a pinched nerve? That ain't no good. That ain't no good. Mark with glasses, number 4 on composite in the blue chip ratio. That's where I'm at. And I just want to see if you're able to maintain. I want to see if you're able to maintain. So those are kind of my main thoughts on the recruiting right now. And we'll see where it goes. You know, you went through that spike kind of after blue and gold where you had a lot of activity. We had a few weekends in a row landing guys. That's great. And then now you're in another lull. And then let's see what happens here throughout the rest of the summer. And I see a lot of people talking about preseason rankings and FPI and all that kind of stuff. I don't pay that much attention unless it's egregious. Unless it's egregious where Notre Dame's like, 25th or something. I don't know, man. But that's what you do in the summer. You're going to nitpick it. You're 7 and not 6. So I'm going to be mad about it on Twitter. I'm getting a little too old to get into all that, man. Even me, I got to ration out my rage here a little bit. All right, let's get through the introduction. Couple chats. We'll go right to the calls. We got a couple all-star callers here to start the day. Guys that I know are not going to call while engaging in illicit and or illegal activities, unlike Monday. As always, thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. There is a 773 on the line, but it's not the pervert one. Or at least I don't know about it. He hasn't told me on the air yet. So I think this 773 is safe. You never know what you're going to get when you open up the old phone lines, folks. You just never know. You just never know. Yes, they are guys that I know. All of these guys are guys that I know on this call-in line. How about emails? Always irishandy@gmail.com. Angela, what's up? Yeah, it was wild on Monday. It was a wild text indeed. I got to tell you what, if only, I got to tell you, doesn't the world work out in funny ways? You know, you're a politician who gets in trouble for some illicit misconduct and your name is Wiener. You can't make it up, folks. It was just too on brand. You can't make that up. But yeah, no, hopefully Anthony Weiner doesn't call again. Anyways, it's only illegal if you get caught. I guess that's a good point. Wolf says it was people were misbehaving. Yes, I just like seeing the wolf because it gives me a reason to go, ow, and that's really fun. I don't care if I'm 40 or not. Every time I see the wolf, that's what I want to do. And it also makes me think of, what was that movie, Teen Wolf or whatever, bro, when Michael J. Fox, it's the funniest movie. It's one of the funniest movies of all time in concept. Could you imagine taking like a handful of illegal substances and eating them and then watching this movie, and you walk in the room and the first thing you see is 5'2" Michael J. Fox dressed as a wolf wearing a basketball jersey, and the guy's doing 360 dunks. He's shooting for three, and he's running around in Nike tennis shoes, but he's dressed like a wolf, and they got the jersey over him, and he's up. Can you just imagine how wild that must be? You walk in there and you're like, oh, what team are we playing? Oh, this guy can dunk and that guy's big. Well, they got a wolf on their team. Oh, that movie always cracks me up, man. It always cracks me up. Oh, boy. That is, man, that's funny. The call-in line 312-900-8815. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want to see my face, just do the audio only. That's fine. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by SI. Patreon.com/always Irish. We're working behind the scenes, folks. This Patreon thing is evolving rapidly. There's going to be some announcements on that coming up. Throughout the rest of the summer as we build momentum into this season. Some things are changing. So we're ramping up. Now's the time for all of our ideas and everything else and figure out what we're going to do. Look at this. $5 holler from the main man, Martinez. Johnny, I had to break up a scrapping match with my crew first thing this morning. If the Irish have the same fight these guys did, we're in good shape. My main man, you got a lot going on, dog. You got a lot going on. Pulled over the other morning. Now this morning, your crew's fighting each other. Come on. $5 holler from the Big E. Easy E in the house. Terrorists in Michigan, ND and OSU fans could have told you that. Son of a buck. I don't like Michigan people very much. And I don't think they like me. And that is just fine. That is just fine with me, okay? All right. You guys are being funny. We're off to a better start today. Let's try Dr. John. What's going on?
Good morning. I was going to ask you if you had recovered, but you apparently have.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I admit, it just wasn't the best representation of what I want this to be Monday, and I was frustrated about it, and I understand some of the reasons why. More importantly, are you okay? I need you to be able to golf, not have no pinched nerve.
Man, I've been dealing with this for weeks. It's the craziest damn thing. Nobody needs to hear about this anyway, John. So,
well, I don't know. I just feel bad. And I know for golfers how that can affect everything and make it where everything hurts. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I played what I call geezer golf yesterday, my senior group. And Yeah, it was a little rough. I didn't think I was in that bad a shape when I started, but I usually walk that 9, and I did, and I was hurting. But anyway, that's a story for a different generation. Well, I was going to ask you about, I checked this recruiting stuff, just the rankings, and I look at where Alabama is right now, and, how can you pay much attention to recruiting at this stage when they're down at 43? That just doesn't compute to me.
You know what I think it is? I looked at that as well last night and scrolled down and looked at some big brand names that are ranked very low and only have a handful of guys. I genuinely think, Dr. John, I think some of these other schools, I think their recruiting calendar is a little different than Notre Dame's. And like Notre Dame tries to get their guys early, the Notre Dame fits and whatever. I feel like some of those schools intentionally kind of wait and load up later, and then some of them it's unintentional. So there's a little blend of both. But I know some of those schools kind of wait and slow play it, and it's kind of this time of year they don't expect to have a lot of guys and then load up. I think there's different philosophies there. But Dr. John, it's June. And so people, what else are you going to do? You need your football fix. You look at the recruiting and you make it in your mind a million different ways because there's just not a lot going on. So you default to recruiting and all the worries and everything else.
Well, when you think about that today, I mean, back in my day, at this time of the year, you had nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you had a subscription to the South Bend Tribune, you weren't getting anything. So,
yeah,
you youngsters are pretty lucky.
Yeah, man. The blue and gold, baby. Blue and gold. I remember the old blue and gold rolled up newspaper would get thrown on the couch, spit it out. Get thrown on the patio once a month. And that's how you would learn it. We got in, Dr. John, that's how we learned it. We got in recruiting. They put out the one thing that said, here's who we got, a little picture and a profile. And you didn't get it till it landed on your doorstep. That's how old I am. I still remember that. And my dad being like, the blue and gold is here. And it used to be a big deal.
Well, here's my question for you about recruiting. At the final position we're in, what's going to be a success for you? How high do we have to be ranked?
I think we went over this on Patreon on Monday Night Raw. We went over this specifically. I think it's going to be a tough ask for Notre Dame to end up in the top 5. It just is for a lot of reasons. If you could go from where we've been, which is right around like 12-ish, to get inside that top 10, can you get to like 6, 7, 8? I think that would be a marked improvement for Notre Dame. Get inside the top 10 and then lock yourself in the top 10 for a few cycles. I think that would denote some real kind of improvement up the board here overall. So that's what I think. Top 5 is going to always be hard for Notre Dame. I want it. I know that's the standard everybody wants. I want it too. Being realistic, that's hard for Notre Dame for a lot of reasons. If you could get 6, 7, 8-ish, I think that's progress.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. One last question here regarding USC. What is the deadline for this
great question
rivalry to continue?
I've been asking it as well. It's got to be it's a great question. I've asked it as well. There's got to be some contractual deadline behind the scenes to where like you have to have lined up what you're going to do for the following seasons to have a schedule. There's got to be an arbitrary line there somewhere of the time frame, and I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't know what it is, but that's not something that would be public. That's a behind the scenes administrative thing of like when you need to know who you're going to play or if you need to fill a game with somebody else. You got to ask Bavakwa. Shoot him an email.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave you with that. And
Just the way you
Also,
said the way you said that, you're like, it was
yeah,
like
well,
it was kind of like a disapproving. I don't know if I like this kind of sound. That was good.
I need time to process that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go out the door with congratulations to Willie Hardigan. I see he's got a new addition to the family. So congratulations, Willie and Johnny. Have a great show. I'll slap it on the headphones right now and I'll listen to the rest of the show.
There you go, man. And I hope that pinched nerve gets unpinched, man. Get back out there. Feel good.
Oh God, me too. Okay, bud.
Have a good one.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, love you,
Okay.
Doc. See ya. Just picture me with the pinched nerve. As much as I'm moving around, every single thing I did, everything I do, will he be hard again? Well, now that you have a kid in the family, let me answer that. Probably not. Like, it's just everything's going to change. Probably not moving forward, but at least you got this one. $5 holler from $5. Sometimes I crack myself up. Am I not entitled to that? $5 holler from Willie B. We have a new addition to the Always Irish family. William was born. Oh, what a regal name, too. William Hardigan III. I like it a lot. What's your name? My name is William Hardigan III, member of the Always Irish family. William was born this past Sunday, and I can already tell he hates USC and Michigan passionately. Go Irish. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It looks like your child is on the way to lifetime success. And who needs Willie? Who needs Sesame Street and Elmo and all this stuff and Barney or whatever kids watch, Bluey or whatever? Who needs any of that when you could just put the show on to entertain the kid? That will really send them down the right path in life. You just put my show on the big screen and the kid he'll grow into something wonderful. Oh, man. You guys know there's a lady in here that's also a mom, says Angela. Yeah, I know. I said what I said. It does sound like a butler's name. What is your name? My name is William Hardigan III. The stupidest things make me laugh. Oh, man. Willie, congratulations. I'm just glad everybody's healthy and okay. When John decides to have a kid, everything goes wrong. Everybody might die. Helicopter ride, 17 minutes, $67,000. Like everything right when John settles down and has a kid, everything goes wrong. 17-minute helicopter ride, $67,000. That's in case anybody's wondering how much it costs. Don't ever need that. You can negotiate all that stuff, though. I mean, come on, bro. I'm gonna own the helicopter for $67,000. It better have my logo on the side. 17 minutes from one hospital to up into the city. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. To be fair, there was an unexpected ambulance ride, but everybody's okay. Well, there you go. That's a little cheaper than that helicopter, baby. All right, let's get the main man Martinez in, hear about the little scuffle at work, and then Chicago's very own's coming up. 484's coming up. My main man Martinez. What's up, baby?
Johnny, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. I don't want to sound like I'm down a shaft, man, but hey, man, no. I get here to work. I'm mixing the mud. I look over and these dudes are scrapping. They're scrapping, Johnny. And my nephews are just watching them. And so is the boss because they're like, and I'm like, hey, man, what are you guys fighting for? Like, this dude told the boss that we came down 15 minutes early. You're like, dude, you guys are really fighting over 15 fucking minutes here, man. Sorry, Johnny. Sorry. Trying to watch my language. 15 minutes. I said, here, man, I'll give you guys $20 for 15 minutes, man. Come on, dude. All the BS in the world going on here, they're fighting over 15 minutes.
I got to tell you, man. I got to tell you, You have more exciting things happen in your life before like 7 a.m. than I ever have in my life combined, man. You got pulled over on a high-speed, low-speed chase on Monday. Now you got your guys fighting. What the hell's going on?
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. That's what I was thinking, man. I was telling my girlfriend, man. I was like, thank God, man. I got the Always Irish show for like the next 2 hours to help me get me through the morning on this, because for real, dude, it's like, hey, you remember listening to that Lil Wayne song or the group, like the Hot Boys, remember? The block is hot. The block is hot. Hot. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, hey, we're in Southern Utah throwing 70-pound blocks. Everybody's stress levels are high. The block is hot. The block is hot. But,
I like it.
Hey, Johnny. No, Johnny, I just wanted to call in, man, and give my excitement and just to touch on some things. I mean, sometimes because I go to these other like podcasts, I see some of the guys there too, and I think sometimes I know you're not clickbait. You're like a support group for us Irish fans that are going through withdrawals. You're like AA for Irish fans, right? But like do people really stress out this much on the dues? I understand dues. I understand considering the 2 seasons Marcus had because, we go to the Sun Bowl, we win it, and then we go to, when we didn't know we were going to have Tyler Buckner or Drew Pine or who the season before that, and we end up, having that nail-biter bowl against South Carolina down in their own backyard, and so we're like, well, it's season 3, Marcus has to put up a shut-up. I think there's a lot of people in the chat. You and I, myself included, that, really have always had faith in Marcus and knew, that this was a really good hire. And yeah, at times had our questions, but do people really stress out that much on it?
It's summer, man. It's summer. There's nothing else to do but worry, man. You're not close enough to Miami to really dive in that 100%. People aren't there yet in their heart and their mind. They're in vacation summer mode still. Like, this is summer, man, and we go through it every cycle. There's this window of time where it's kind of just you're sitting and crossing days off the calendar.
Oh, I know. It's like Domer pull. What are we, like 88 days to kick off? Was it Domer or Sly Fox for 88 days to kick off? And Andrew makes good points about the D tackles. The D tackles. I mean, because no one can argue Jude. And I'm sorry, man. I said over and over, man, but I love that boy, man. Like, got to meet him in person, spoke with his sister a little bit. She had told me that his mom wanted him to come back to California, but a lot of them poly boys, like I said, I grew up with a lot of Tongans, man. Some of my best friends, their mama's boys, like Mexican kids, right? Their mama's boys. And said he wanted him to come back closer to California. And that sister had said, hey, man, no, let him stay there. He's getting a great education, but I don't stress out personally. I don't. I think Angelo makes a good point that if our linebackers are not, if our D linemen are not plugging up those middles the way they should be, then our linebackers have to step up. But then also that brings in, I mean, I have confidence in Max Bola. I think that dude is such an amazing coach, man. Like, I think he's got to give more interviews and really be out there more, man. Because every time that dude talks, man, I that's a future head coach right there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's an up and rising star. So yeah, I don't know, man. This is it's a weird time of the year. We go through it every cycle. And the recruiting thing is always an issue, always a question, always something to worry about. What are you gonna do next? Are you gonna be able to hold on to your guys? I don't know, man. Take it 1 week at a time.
Right, Johnny. Hey, man, I just wanted to call and say I think it's funny. The life and times of Renee Martinez before the Always Irish show. Hey, Johnny, I love you, man. Onward, Notre Dame, brother.
Take care, man. Keep everybody in line over there, brother. And you know what else? All of his crew should be ripped. All they do is move around like concrete bricks all day. I imagine all those dudes jacked if that's what you're doing all day, man. You don't need to go to no gym. That is your gym. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, man. He's a working man, baby. He's a working man. Let's go back to the calls. What were these chats? Oh, look at this. Crying belly. Never miss an opportunity. Never miss an opportunity to troll. Leaning into how much summertime sucks is really inspiring. It makes me want to consume more Notre Dame content. I believe in being truthful about the dynamic and what I do here. And that's the absolute truth. And I don't shy away from that. It's not like we're just saying, oh, shut it all down. We're not going to do any football till August when it's easy and all the narratives come to you and you don't have to make them. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest about when you do this year round. There's certain cycles of the year that are more challenging than others. I'm not going to shy away from that. It's a reality everybody's going through that does this across the whole country, not just John in his basement, everybody. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. Why does Bullock get so much love, but Rudolph doesn't? Snead and Osbury are underachieving where Knapp and Wagner are really good. I don't know, man. How did these perceptions get laid out? Like, that's my question of like these perceptions about certain assistant coaches and what they're good or not at. And like, I'm not sure how much we all know behind the scenes. Like, I don't know how some of those narratives get started. Is it like one content creator that you trust says this is what's happening and then that becomes the narrative? Because I don't have all these details of who's recruiting their ass off, who's not pulling their weight. I don't have those kind of details. Kent's in summer troll mode here. I think Freeman and Notre Dame should just recruit Yale and Duke Ivy League guys. They will for sure win in recruiting then. Whatever, man. Whatever. Oh, man. I don't know, Kent. There's some things here that are just and the recruiting thing's always going to be, it's always going to be something. And the other part is you can't, the whole like academic thing with like, you know, it's harder for Notre Dame to land guys because you got to be able to read and the test scores and they're still serious about it or whatever. That's still true in a lot of ways, but like no one wants to hear it because it just comes off like you're whining and then you're like, we're holding ourselves to this high standard and that's an excuse of why we're not doing that. It could be a legitimate reason, but it comes off socially like you're making excuses. And then it also comes off like elitist because you're like, our guys have to read and your guys don't. Like that kind of thing. So that's always like an awkward angle there because there's really it doesn't make you come off in the best light, I guess is what I'm saying. Because it comes off whiny and weaselly and then like, we're better than you, but we're also not better than you. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does or not. Chicago's very own is coming up. Eric, thanks for being here, man. Look at that $5 from Dr. John in honor of Willie and his new always Irish fan child. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And if you haven't yet, go subscribe to the College Huddle. Eric's a good guy. He's one of the few Ohio State guys I'm genuinely friends with. It doesn't matter how much I try and not like the guy. It doesn't matter how much I try and not like him. He's just too nice. Even with the Ohio State thing, he's just too good of a guy. You can't not like him. Oh, Chicago's very own Tom Frawley. What's up, Tom?
Johnny boy. Hey, listen, some bullet points today, so I don't want to take up too much time. So to Dr. John, I hope you feel better, buddy. Those pinch nerves suck. Maybe you can get one of his girlfriends to come over and give him a nice little massage.
There you go. I like that. Fun.
Yeah. Just in case I have to remind him. He mentioned something too, how we get our news. And we are spoiled in this day of the push button society and internet. And we get all our Notre Dame content, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, he brought up the South Bend Tribune. I used to get the South Bend Tribune delivered right before Blue and Gold launched, when Blue and Gold was actually the first year it was called Go Irish. And I still have copies of the first editions of, and that was during the Faust era. That was 1981, I believe.
Yeah, so, Tom, yeah, we've come a long way. I literally remember the recruiting issue had a headshot and then a little box that said what high school, what their stats were, a couple sentences as a write-up. And that was how you figured out
Yeah.
who you got. Like, it's wild for maybe like people in their 20s to realize that's literally how it was. There wasn't all these websites and Twitter updating you on every visit, every guy takes, and all the rumors. You literally got that magazine in the mail, open it, and it showed you a list of the guys, and that's who you played with. It was a wild time.
Well,
it was a wild time.
You know, one of the other things too was, if anybody is old enough to remember, in the Sunday papers of major metropolitan areas, like the Chicago Sun-Times, had the Sunday Parade magazine, and there were the Parade High School All-Americans. And those were the creme de la creme, what would probably be considered high four-star, high four-star, five-star type players today. It was before all these recruiting gurus like Tom Lemming, even though Tom Lemming's been doing it for 44 years now. And he's the dean of all the rest of it. But Rivals, ESPN, now they've got all these young guys. I mean, I've seen some of the content creators on some of the other Notre Dame podcasts and websites, and it's like, wow, it's really fallen off. So yeah, the news was not readily available, but the content of the recruits that we would get in the off season was much greater. So, like, for instance, I was just looking at the 2026 football recruiting class, right? So according to ESPN's latest rankings, they're at the number 2 spot, and then Rivals. And then, look, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the way that they star these so-called athletes. But what I do know is that if you look at the top 5 players coming in, the 2 running backs, Jonas Walton and Javian Osborne, studs. This Rodney Durham, the defensive end, and Tyler Merrill, he's supposed to be massive. Well, I found out yesterday that they found another bookend tight end from Chicago, this Mikhail Blade, in the class of 2026. And he's 6'5", 255. They say he's a tough kid, and he can rush a passer.
Tom, you want to know something? This is going to be really low. Yeah. This is low IQ. Just hearing that name makes me think you would be a good football player. I'm sorry, something about that name just makes me think like badass on the football field. Mikhail Blade. Well, what's your name? He sounds like one of the
roughest neighborhoods.
He's coming from American Gladiators.
He's coming out of a tough neighborhood.
I picture American Gladiators. Here we got Blade.
Mikhail Blade. Yeah, I like that's his name.
I like it.
You heard it here first, folks. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, look, this is you, and then when you pull together all the coaches, we were talking about with Max Bullock that Mr. Martinez talked about. Yeah, I mean, I think now that there's Freeman has solidified his coaching staff even after Al Golden left, right? Underneath the guys that are really doing the recruiting and pulling these kids in, you can tell by the quality. So what's coming down the pike, according to Tom Lemming and a couple of his stringers, these guys, what they're concentrating on is what we haven't for the last 30 years: speed and defensive tackles. I mean, so right there, now we can compete. Now it's got, it's a warning to all those trolls out there that hate us and want to come on here. And that's the other thing. Monday, I'm sorry, John, I had to drop off. I couldn't handle that negativity anymore. I got sucked in a little bit early on. Those people are just, I'd rather go have a root canal than read the comments from the Ohio State fans.
Listen, I've got I allow a long runway. I allow a lot of leeway. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like Monday people kind of took that and ran with it. And I think they know where the line is. A lot of them are around here a
Yeah.
lot, and I gotta think they know where the line is. I do admit Monday was the first time in a long time I was like, I don't think I'm proud of that product, and I never think that.
No, listen,
I never think that,
you know
but
what?
I did, and it bothered me all day. It wasn't the best product, and I was frustrated. And but whatever.
Go and sin no more. That's all you can do. I mean, and look, here's what I've done. I turn off I love the chat because of all of our regulars, and there's some funny stuff in there, and there's some very insightful stuff. But when these morons come on, it's just like, really? And I got to shut it off. I'd just rather listen to it like Dr. John does. I mean, it's just, it screws. I'm not going to let them get to me anymore because they're just not worth the time
I think
or effort.
I like when you keep your vitriol towards Ohio State and Miami and USC.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's direct all of our anger that way.
That's one way of handling it. But listen, I was at my nephew's co-ed baby shower. It was at a beer garden. It was a good time. And of course, one of his idiot friends shows up, and he's an Ohio State fan. And he starts breaking my balls because I was wearing a Notre Dame shirt. He goes, "Oh, are you gonna stop in the middle of a party and go pray?" I says, "Hey, baby, you better pray that I don't knock you in the next Thursday and you be sucking your food through a straw for the next 8 weeks." God, they're just obstinate.
Yeah.
They're obstinate. I mean, I just don't understand how. And you know what? Now we're getting to them. Now they're starting to. Oh, wait a minute. We better go into the Notre Dame. Can you imagine going into Bucknuts or one of those Ohio podcasts to deal with that? You're going to lose brain cells, for Christ's sakes.
It's
God almighty.
Tom, I love you, man. You are one of the most diehard Chicago old school Catholics I've ever met.
Yeah, but
you have that other side to you. You have that other. I talked to you the night before the Indiana game, and I said, "How are you doing, Tom?" And you said, I'm praying the rosary, doing my part. You have all the Catholicness, but then you also have that switch where you unleash on the enemy, and I love it.
Well, onward Christian soldier, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to stand there and let them kick sand in our face.
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works. So, you know what, too, when we were talking about it earlier, we went through when Notre Dame re-upped the series in 1978 with Michigan after a 35-year layoff. Look what happened. It was a great series. I wish we could play Ohio State every year or every other year. Then we're going to even those tables down. I'm tired of hearing the 1936 thing because it really doesn't hold water. I mean, and what these Ohio State fans forget is that during the bulk of those years, through the 50s, 60s, 70s, up until 1979, when Woody Hayes got fired, he would not schedule Notre Dame because he didn't want to lose his Ohio players, especially the ones that came out of the Catholic. And he said it, the Catholic high schools in Ohio. He would refuse. He actually would recruit kids and say, "You know what? Go to Notre Dame. I don't want you going to Michigan." Bo Schembechler used to talk about that. So that's why Notre Dame had a lot of Ohio talent in the 60s and 70s. But he certainly never wanted to play Notre Dame. So the Ohio State fans, they see things, they're like Warren Boulevard. They're one way. They're just a one-way street. And if you don't agree with them, well, you're dog shit to them. Well, that's what. And here's the other thing. You just won the national championship. Celebrate, for God's sake. Enjoy it. Nope, they got to go piss on somebody else's flower bed.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable.
I don't know, man. To the victors go the spoils, I guess. And if you win the championship, you can do what you want. I suppose those are the rules in society.
Yeah, but win with class.
Yeah,
win with class, and that just proves that they don't have it. Now, that's not all Ohio State fans. I have a couple of buddies that are stand-up guys that are Ohio State fans, but they're in such a vast minority. My God. So, anyway, Miami's next. Tee them up. We're going to be all right. The recruiting looks good, John. Recruiting looks good into 2027. I really think they focused this defensive line focus is what we've been needing since the ass end of the Holtz era. And, how they let it go that far, I don't know. But boy, when this turns the corner, because we've got all the rest of the pieces in the puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it should be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're a few weeks out now from 4th of July, and after that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get through that, and then a few more weeks, and then you're into camp, and this is off to the races. So Tom, just relax, enjoy summer in the big city there, and relax a little bit, and we'll get it cranked up, baby.
And I'll give you a call on that other thing. I'm waiting for the logo. So I'll call you on that in a day or two as soon as I get it in my possession.
Yep. Just keep me posted.
Right,
and
go Irish.
Tom, keep me posted on that, and I'll do my part. Have a good one in the beautiful city of Chicago. 484 coming up. Man, you guys are funny. I love Tom. He is one of my favorite because he's got the full switch. I literally call him the night before the Indiana game just to check on him. And I'm pacing around the house, doing the rosary and everything. I'm doing my thing, all the Catholic stuff. And then he did the, I would rather my sister be a lady of the night than my brother be an Ohio State fan. Like, and then with the Miami people, like, or that was about Miami rather. It just cracks me up. It cracks me up. Good news. I feel like we're doing a little better on the chat today. So thank you. 484. We have not talked since it looks like the week of Christmas. What is going on?
What's up, brother?
I got December 19th here as the last time. There's been a lot of Notre Dame action between now and then. What's on your mind?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for jumping back in. What's on your mind?
Oh, I got a couple things about the recruiting. Everybody should just pump the brakes. They're going to be fine. It's early. They're in the line to get a couple good receivers and D linemen.
Yeah, listen. There's always going to be Notre Dame recruiting anxiety. And I think it's probably for all teams, like especially in the offseason. That's the main thing you have to worry about. Like, it's totally natural. So I'm like, it doesn't faze me. That's our natural state, is having recruiting anxiety. But I see a couple trolls in here being like, this class is bad, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you're sitting at number 2 and you have 15 composite 4-stars and 1 3-star, I mean, you can't be that devastated. Like, oh my God, we've dropped the ball and there's no talent.
Yeah.
You can have your worries.
You can tell them trolls to go pound sand.
But like, have your anxiety about the wide receiver room. Have your anxiety about making sure you have a beefy D line or whatever. I'm fine with that. But anybody can't look at that and be like, oh, the whole thing's falling apart. We suck. We're never going to get a good player again. It's a really good class. Let's see where it goes.
Oh, this is a great class coming in. Those trolls, man, just tell them to go pound sand.
I don't know.
We got a great, like you said, we got a great, I think this is one of the best coaching staffs in college football. And they know what they want.
Yeah. Now, do you admit, I do fully agree with the anxiety of, are you going to be able to hold on to the top rated guys in your class and not shed them?
Well, that's the thing. That's
fair.
That really pisses me off.
But that's
fair.
It's fair. Like that criticism is fair. And I wouldn't say that.
That you can't argue with because since he's been there, we did lose.
That's it.
Some of our top players.
That's exactly what I was going to say is if it was a one-time thing, you could be like, whatever, that's an anomaly, but it has been every Freeman class. So that is a big thing that we need to prevent. And I don't know how you do it. It's easier said than done. That's a fair critique. Needing wide receivers is fair, like whatever, but they're doing a pretty good job raising the talent floor.
Yeah. And another thing I love too, we had that 1 year where, Notre Dame, you're never going to get a bye. You got to join a conference. Look, we did that 1 year. They wanted to change it. Now we can get the bye. I just sit back and laugh. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, we're Notre Dame. We're always going to have a seat at the table. They're always going to include us, whether you like it or not. So you can just go fucking eat shit.
Yeah. It's so I don't know, man. It's going to be, I don't know. This is interesting. Sometimes it feels It feels to me.
Oh, I got a bone to pick with Joe Cladd, man. What is that guy on?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Hey, Joe Cladd, go get a box of tissues and life sucks. Wear a Golden Dome helmet.
I'm going to tell you what this is. I've got a theory. My theory is, I just think
I was listening to your show the other.
Everybody takes a mile in the summer. I'm telling you, whatever the take is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just to freaking kick some rocks around and just to get some clicks and stuff, and
that's it.
Say whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's it's the time of year. I'm telling you, people take their liberties. They're desperate for clicks. They clickbait everything. And then whatever goofy video goes out on Twitter in the season that would just get scrolled by and be over in an hour, it gets way more amplification because there's just not a lot of football stuff. So every dumb article or ranking or listing or hot take gets way more run than it should.
Yeah, let me tell you something right now. For those Bucknuts Flamers, I hope we play them in the playoffs this year because we will beat them this year.
Hey, it's easier to say than do, man. Like,
yeah, I know, and I know we have an Ohio State problem, but I hope to God we play them this year.
Yeah, it is. I don't know,
and we're not that far off in talent. I mean, yeah, they get the good receivers, but we get one of like a top-notch receiver. We can flip that thing in no time. I'll tell you what, this year are the 2025 receivers. You know what? I'm telling you, man, we're going to have some. It's going to be good. And now we finally got a quarterback. Each one, either Carr or Minchie. I mean, those guys can read progress the field, and we can get it to them. They can make the throws. Because Riley, let's face it, in the beginning of the year, he wasn't throwing to anybody, and he couldn't read the defense. He couldn't. Remember what he said during the year? Oh yeah, the guys are open. I'm just not throwing it. It's like, and you're a fourth-year senior. I mean, we went to the national championship with that clown. That all the I like the guy and all, but man, with he's talking about God and everything and the Bible study, it's like, yo, give me a break. But I mean, we need an alpha dog in there for a quarterback. We need a guy with swagger, and that's going to make the throws. I mean, you saw the throws that C.J. Carr was making in the blue and gold game, and Minchie on the run, dropping them over the freaking corner and the safety. And that was against Don Schuler, so I'm not worried, man.
Yeah,
I'm not worried at all with our offensive line and our running backs. We got a great defense.
What is your confidence level that the entire passing operation at Notre Dame is going to take a big jump forward? Like, do you feel like just you're going to have a better group of wide receivers? You like you like some of the transfer guys coming in. You think and then you're going to have a quarterback.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you believe that? Like, I want to believe it, but like, I got to see you throw it around against Miami a little bit for me to buy in.
We never had that quarterback. The past years, all we had that quarterback that was afraid to make the throw. I mean, we just all do all the check. You know what I mean? Even Riley in the beginning of the year, he was like that, and until he just like got out of his head and started making throws. But dude, in the beginning of last year, he couldn't complete anything. He was terrible. Well, you got to have that guy in there that is not afraid to throw the ball down the field, and I think we got it with these guys. I mean, look at what that's what they said about Ian Book. You know what I mean? He was always, I mean, even though he's the winning's quarterback, but he was always afraid to pull the trigger. We didn't have a guy with, you know what I mean? And now I think these two guys, I think we got some gunslingers in there, and that's CJ Carr or Minchie. I like both of them. So, and like you said, we got better receivers, and I think Denbrock's going to open it up more. Because look what Pembroke did last year. He knew Riley couldn't do it. So what would we do? Run it all the time with him. It's like, come on. But I think Pembroke, I trust him to open it up. I think our passing game's going to be way better than last year.
Let me ask this. I mean, do you have any anxiety about the early part of the schedule being challenging for a first-time starting quarterback and how you're going to ease that guy into the college game and not make him be a hero to get through the first couple big needle-mover games?
Oh, you know what you do with that.
That's a real anxiety. Well, I know what you do. Play really good defense and run the ball. Play really good defense and run the ball and not make the kid be a hero.
Miami. Yeah, we don't want to do that, but everybody's worried about Miami. I'm like, dude, their defense was terrible last year. And I mean, I'm not sold on them, but this is what you do with whoever starts the beginning of the year. We got that good running game. You just make them, set him up with some decent throws, get his confidence. And then you got to But then after that, once you get that running game going, man, you got to take some deep shots, man. You got to do like the deep, the deep post, hit the tight end down the seams. You got to go. I mean, supposedly this year they're going to go do more a lot like 4 wide. You know what I mean? And that dude, like I'm telling you, like I trust CJ Carr reading the defense and stuff and making those throws. Like he's a way different quarterback than we had in the past couple of years. So
yeah, man, it's going to be
It's going to be yeah. But it's not like impossible. I mean, Miami's defense was trash last year. Let's face it. And then A&M, we got them at home, so we get that opener. Then we get a bye, and then A&M, we're set up nice.
Yeah, it's to me that's the entire key. If you're able to navigate that beginning window of games,
I agree.
And because I've been saying this forever, I believe this team's going to be really, really good. How good are they going to be and when? No. How good are they going to be and when? Like it doesn't do me that good that in week 10 I'm saying this team's rounding into form, but you have 3 losses because early in the year the new Ash defense is adjusting and the rookie quarterback throws a couple pick sixes into coverage. Like you just can't have that. You don't have to be perfect early in the year. You got to be good enough to win while these things are developing, while that quarterback's easing into the speed of the real bullets flying around. So this early part of the season so big. Think about the dynamic of that Miami game. You're going to have the standalone game on Sunday. Everybody's watching you in the whole country to see Notre Dame's new quarterback.
The whole world's going to be watching Notre Dame.
Yep.
The whole world's going to be watching Notre Dame. I've been telling you this for years. Notre Dame football, we're taking over the world just like Amazon. It's just a matter of time. We're just getting started.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
But you know, too, this coaching staff, too, they're going to make these players like. I mean, Freeman learns from his mistakes. And we're going to go in there he's going to instill the confidence and the swagger and to be aggressive and attack. Not this Kelly bullshit. We're scared, timid, and freaking. Oh, let's not lose by much. That Kelly, LSU can have him. That kid, he's a snake. That guy, he can stay down in the bayou with his family.
Yeah, there was something missing, man. There's just, even with the good higher level teams, there seemed to be like a little something missing. They never had that extra gear there. There was just,
especially with Kelly. Oh my God. It's like, when we were going into big games with him, it was just, they just played scared.
So now you got the
let's just play like that. They didn't play aggressive.
But now you got an opposite problem where you're losing some of these games you're favored by like 28.5 points. So now that needs to go away. Like I like having the higher top 10 wins now, and that win percentage Freeman's accumulating against those teams. Now you got to figure out how to not lose against Northern and Marshall and Stanford when you're favored by 28.5 points at home.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, look, they had the game won. Look who threw the pick. Who threw the pick? And after that, they went down and kicked the winning field goal with a couple seconds. Riley, with that terrible read he had, he threw it out. I don't even know who the hell he was throwing that to. He threw it. There was nobody even around, and he throws it to and who runs it up? That was on him, man. That game, we lost that game because of Riley. Everybody's. I mean, then he turned the season around. But dude, that was all on him. He was terrible that game. He couldn't hit water. He fell out of the boat in that game. So that loss was on him.
Yeah, it's you gotta hope.
And then we didn't hand the ball to Jeremiah Love. He had one of the greatest touchdown runs of the season. Hurdles that dude and goes to the end zone, and then he doesn't get any more touches after that.
Yeah, it's
that's just stuff they got to fix. We make sure that shit don't happen again.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But I got one more thing. I just wish Notre Dame would go back to the gold pants. If you remember in the 2019 season, they wore the tribute uniforms to the 88, and Under Armour has them because it was against Boston College, I think, and it was the gold, but they wore in 88. I mean, they should just wear those for Under Armour that game. That's what they should use now for their pants.
Yeah, you know what?
Pants.
You know what? I always think of
like a little bit of like yellow. But those, when they broke those out in 2019, and they wore the tribute uniforms for the 88 team, and those were the.
I don't know what happened. Phone line problems. Sorry, man. I don't know what happened. Phone line problems. You cut out. Give me a call again. Don't make it 6 months or whatever. Phone line problems. Did not hang up on him. Phone line issues this week, people. Had one Monday, have one now. I don't know what's going on. Here's what I'm going to say about these pants. What I'm going to say about these pants. Do you guys remember the Weiss era Notre Dame pants? Does anybody remember that? They were turd brown. The helmets were turd brown. I didn't know Notre Dame's colors were poop brown. And in a way, it's a very good representation of that era of Notre Dame football, if you really think about it. But if you're old enough, bring yourself back or go on YouTube and look up the Weiss era Notre Dame stuff. The helmets were brown and the pants were brown. And it perfectly matched up with like how Notre Dame played. It even matched like how in my brain, Weiss, it just kind of matched. I remember brown. You couldn't get no gold reflection off those helmets or nothing. What are your colors? Oh, the brown and gold. I get the brown and blue. Unbelievable. Commander. What makes John believe Notre Dame is going into the game planning on having the rookie quarterback be the star? If that's the plan, then Freeman isn't the coach we all believe he could be. Again, I don't know whether you are intentionally or accidentally misrepresenting my angle. I'm not saying the plan is to do that. I'm saying you got to be good enough in other areas of the program that you don't get backed into position where you need that. Those are very different things. If you got a lockdown defense against Miami that doesn't let them score a lot, you have more of a margin offensively to do what you need to do. If you have a good running game that could keep the sticks moving, then that helps that quarterback. I'm not saying that's the plan, is to make him throw it 58 times like Brian Kelly in a hurricane. I'm saying you need to be good enough in the other supporting areas that you don't need the guy to do that. Not that it's a plan. Now, if you want to talk about it being a plan, see, this is summer. You get in your own Notre Dame brain when it's summer. Does Denbrock and Freeman have the guts to surprise people and have Miami thinking what I'm thinking? They're going to try and play good defense, and they're going to try and run the ball and protect that quarterback and insulate him a little bit. Do you say, screw that, go in there, kid, light it up? And the second play of the game is a delayed little fake, let a guy get deep and then you throw it deep and see what you can do. I'm just saying, is there an angle here where they believe in this quarterback enough to go the other way intentionally? And I don't know how likely that is or not, but I think that conservative thinking is going to be run the ball, play good defense, protect that quarterback, ease him into the college game. What if they don't do that at all? What if Denbrock literally does say, screw it, we like what we got, we're going to throw the ball, and if that works a little bit, defense can't crash the line, and then you run it. So I don't know. But it'd be, throw a bomb on the first play to make Commander lose his mind. I don't know. So it's whatever. We're never going to be able to make everybody happy here. We're just never going to be able to make everybody happy. Andrew Gilmore asked about Grubbs. I've seen really mixed reviews on him. I see some people that really like him. I see some people that think he's limited and not developing. And then some of it is like the team he plays on doesn't have the best support or an O-line or whatever. I've seen a lot of that. And so, but people are asking, like, did you need to take that commitment that early? Do you like him? Like, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I don't know what to make of it. 757, what's up?
Hey, John, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. What's up, brother?
Hey, John, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, I am letting myself the ease of concerns over offensive play calling, etc. I trust Denbrock whether or not we're going to run it up the middle 14 times in a row or we're going to throw it deep. I do think something that would be interesting maybe to talk to is it Clark, the guy you do on Patreon who does the quarterback, he's the high school coach, the offensive tape reviews.
Yeah.
It would seem to me, technology exists now that the learning curve for, particularly someone like Carr, and really Mitchie, right? You've been in the system for a couple of years. I don't know what sort of like quarterback training gurus or like simulations they can do to, nothing's going to replace Hard Rock Stadium. But, as far as, it's not 30 years ago where the only kind of real live fire bullets or anything akin to that would be, practice would probably be the best substitute. And then the game itself. I'd like to think just the processing speed and the ways they have to train folks that there won't be, folks won't be so cold going into the game for the first time. So if they decide they need to open up the passing offense, which would be my personal preference in the first game, everyone's high enough on Carr to think he has the tools and the ability to do so. And there's no way you're going to know unless you give it a go. Right.
Yeah.
And I think we should take a lot of peace and comfort in how good, like there's no way the defense just like falls off the ledge in the first game. Like I don't see a scenario where that happens. So let's say worst case, you throw the bomb the first play and it's a pick six, it's still only 7-0. And, the guys will be able to come back or, hopefully give them a stop. So,
yeah.
I think
I want to circle, I want to circle back a little bit to the topic I was supposed to discuss today. And what I want to say is, does it surprise anybody else that Notre Dame is going to be favored as we sit right now in every single game? And I know that even when we're favored, it's baking in the instability of not knowing what you're going to get with the new quarterback. It seems to be a lot of belief in Notre Dame in the betting markets that they have them favored in those first five big games or whatever. Notre Dame's favored in all of them. I wonder if that surprises anybody because they got to be baking in the uncertainty of the new quarterback, but there's still enough belief in Notre Dame or against everybody else that they just think those teams aren't good. It surprises me a little bit. There's that much belief.
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think we should feel very good that the transfer portal didn't eat us up, as it did some other teams. And so, teams that have to leverage the portal much more than we did, maybe on the high end it works out. But there's also, I think, just a lot more variability of how the pieces come together. So, I don't know what the returning production stats are. And I mean, Leonard ate up a bunch of numbers for us. So like our percentages might not be as high as some other teams that had the quarterback coming back. But overall, like if you think about it, there's not a whole lot of weapons that left the team, particularly for offensively from last year. And then defensively, we had so many young guys playing that did so well that even though we lose Morrison and Watts, we feel pretty confident. So, I mean, we should be favored. I think that's a good testament to where Mark Struman's brought the program. And, I mean, I don't know, John. Like, I know you say it is. I get that it's statistically hard to go 12-0. But if you add up each game, like I feel like the expectation, like the floor for us really should be 11-1, and the only quote unquote acceptable loss is splitting the first two. So like we got to be as a program that we should expect to do very well given our schedule. I mean, the only other kind of thing that would be a mix up if somehow, which I don't think it's going to happen, if SC like has their banner year and their defense gets together or something, that could be a tough game. But like when you look at it now, we should be favored. That should really be the expectation, I would say, going forward. And then really the true test will come in the playoffs each year.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of belief in this Notre Dame program. It should be, you're in a good spot, but you know what's funny? Whenever this 12-0, 11-1 comes up or whatever, everybody breaks it up and they go, well, if you get past the first two games 2-0, then I think you're in a really good spot. Yeah, no kidding, obviously, but you can't just like, I see a lot of people being like, well, if you get through the first two games, yeah, that's a big if. You can't just blow by that. It's kind of a big deal, Miami and A&M.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it was Goolsby. I just think we got to put pause. I mean, hopefully, who's the guy at A&M that used to coach for us? He's got the program probably going in a better direction than it had been under the previous coach. But you got to be real. I mean, they're not going to win the SEC this season. So, like, when it comes to, being worried about an opponent, I mean, every opponent deserves a healthy amount of respect, but it's not, they're not Georgia, they're not Texas. It is definitely a good win for us. And on the schedule, one of the harder opponents that we'll have, but we should enter that game. I think I saw somewhere, we're a touchdown favorite.
Yeah.
That's probably about right.
Again, time to bring up the bingo card. A lot of respect for Mike Elko. It's still on the list. Okay. It's still on the list. And I still have a lot of respect for Mike Elko. And I have a hard time believing that he's not going to have that program in better shape in year 2 and have a fast physical defense and maybe figure out the offense a little more. He'll have a better year 2, just not at our expense, hopefully.
Yep. Other random comment. So I do think we just have to collectively get more comfortable with. I think it's a fair trade-off. Increased recruiting talent goes along with that. That you're going to have if you let yourself get too invested in the summertime recruiting battles, that folks who are committed are going to go visit elsewhere. I think that kind of angst is a acceptable trade-off to not end up with all RKG John Kennedys. Who never go visit anywhere. It's kind of just like it kind of is what big time recruiting is. That's an acceptable trade-off. One, they get a higher quality recruit, and then 2, if we can continue to have continued success, that these guys aren't jumping in the transfer portal at the first sign of lack of playing time or NIL concerns, right? So I think overall, I guess we'll have to see over the next few years. This past season was about, I think, as good as it could have gone as far as not losing folks to the portal. That if we can, we get whoever we get on signing day. Hopefully that continues to trend in the right direction. But then really the true marker of success will be, okay, how long, of the class of 26, 4 years from now, how many of those folks are around and have graduated to kind of for the university to reap the fruit of their continued development.
Yeah, so, I do think it says a lot. I think it says a lot how few guys want to get out of Notre Dame. Like, I'm not taking shots at Kelly, but I'm pretty sure he had 24 guys leave the program. Like, and we only had a few, and they're like mostly specialists. Like, I do think it says something that these guys want to stick around and be a part of this. I'm a little surprised there hasn't been more people leaving. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because I think it was you. One of the talking heads, like, yeah, this potentially could be a very unique timeline for Notre Dame, because like outside of colors changing, is there really that big of a difference between playing for LSU? Let's say you're from Texas, right? So there's no like home state affiliation or whatever. Is there that much of a difference for playing for LSU as opposed to Ohio State, as opposed to UT or whatever, right? Like they're all just big football schools where you do football stuff and that's it. But it's a different. I like to think it's still real that going to Notre Dame is, choosing hard. And so there's more investment in
it's a very fair
around,
point.
At least to graduate.
Yeah, that's a very very good point. Very, very good point. That is that makes a lot of sense. There is some buy-in to the bigger picture at Notre Dame where like stick around and get your degree, and it's not like a run-of-the-mill football factory degree. I totally get that. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for the call today.
Nothing else. I guess the only other thing is it's been fun trolling. The SC folks are all pumped up that they're given, $40 million or whatever. It's not that much. They're paying like out the wazoo for their tight end and recruitment. So I'm looking forward to that drubbing. Hey, so I called in last week and said I was going to the White Sox game for the first time.
Yeah.
I will say, so I've been to a few different MLB parks. So they lost they lost 13-1. So they got crushed. But that stadium is very, very nice. And it was extremely easy to get into, and the food wasn't ridiculously expensive. So outside the baseball, that was probably the nicest MLB stadium I've been to. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. You know what though? You know me. I always find a way to get mad about everything. It starts to rub me the wrong way when all the Sox have to sell is the newest graham cracker s'more shake and the good food options and everything and the amenities in the stadium. It really starts to rub me the wrong way when like that's what they sell and the on-field product's so bad. It's just, I'm not going, I'm not listening, I'm not watching until the team is sold. That I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
No, I got you. And I'm not emotional about it or whatever because I'm not a native Chicagoan, but and I got free tickets, so I was, I can understand certainly, but it almost seems like a shame. Like it could probably be way better, and they have the tools and infrastructure that's at least the physical attributes, maybe not the organization to help them out. But I thought I would offer that. So if any, you want to at least if you don't care about the team and you just want to go to a nice ballpark, I think Rate Field fits the bill.
Yeah, yep. It would be fun. I'd like to bring my child there, get her around baseball, but I'm not going to infect her with all this loserdom, so it ain't gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. All right. Hey, I think Jeremiah Love's going to win the Heisman, and Carr's going to throw for 40 touchdowns, and the Irish by a million.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you very much. That's a good way to go out. John, address the Chicago Fire stuffing the Sox in a locker with the new stadium lot. I mean, whatever, dude. Like, it's already so embarrassing and humiliating and not non-competitive. Add it on the list. What is it? I mean, just add it on the list, you guys. Go ahead. It isn't going to get to me. I don't care. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm not going. I'm not listening. I'm not paying attention to any White Sox stuff till the team is sold or the owner dies, whichever comes first. They're moving to Nashville. Well, that's fine. I'll put on a cowboy hat and go down to, what's it called? What's that place? Tootsie's or whatever on the corner there. I'll sit there with a cowboy hat and play music or something to earn a few bucks and root for my ball club. Keep the White Sox out of this. I don't need to get worked up. I've done a good job with them being gone. The owner will die and the team will be sold and relocated to Nashville. Well, whatever. I'll get my cowboy boots and I'll go whistle Dixie or whatever the phrase is. I don't know. Stupid ass White Sox ruining my life. Is it that much to ask? It's a little boy's pastime, man. You grow up and you're on summer break and all you want to do is watch your baseball team every day in the summer and you grow up with it and you love it. And this is what you get. Mike Singer, make me feel better about it.
Hey, John, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
Been on the hold for 20 minutes. Just it's awesome to talk to you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very, very fine. You sound way too official. It's throwing me off. You sound way too official. It's really messing with me. Mike, what's going on, buddy? We're in the shit, man. We're in the middle of the summer. I'm losing my mind over here.
Well, I wanted to call and talk about the White Sox and the Notre Dame pant color.
My two favorite topics. Yeah.
Yeah, I could not care less. I mean, if they're wearing pink pants, I get it. Let's complain, but I don't care about the color of the pants.
Yeah, it bothered me.
I guess it's the middle of June.
Yeah, it is. It's the middle of June. Mike, can I ask you, what do you make of where Notre Dame's sitting in the 26 recruiting class right now? Or do you think they're really doing a good job? Do you think it's falsely getting propped up as high as they are? Like, what do you think?
All right. The first thing here is that Notre Dame always gets off to a hot start. This cycle, it took a little bit later, right? They went on like a 2-month stretch where they didn't land any commitments. And then in April and early May, they just went on an absolute heater.
Yeah.
Right. So they have, depending on what website you're looking at, somewhere between like the 3 and the 5 spot. That's where the class is. But as we know, John, it really depends on how June goes. If you land guys like Joey O'Brien and Kari Adams, 2 elite defensive backs, if you're able to land couple, big time tight ends, like Ian Premer's a tight end in the Midwest who's like, potentially a 5-star type guy. You're able to land some of these, elite prospects, maybe get a big time offensive tackle in Grayson McHugh. And, can you go get a defensive lineman from Sarasota, Florida, and Elijah Golden, who I know someone asked earlier about, Jared Clark, or mentioned Jared Clark when I was listening.
Yep, that's his guy.
Goes to Clark's high school. Yeah, and I actually I met Jared at the national championship game. I was I'm not going to actually continue that sentence, but I can talk to you about that off air. But I met Clark there, and then I was at Golden Spring game a few weeks ago, and it was really good to see Clark again and see Elijah. So if you're able to land some of these top targets, and look, the recruiting rankings aren't the be all end all, John. If you're able to land some of these top targets, Notre Dame really could, have a borderline top 5 class. Like it's very much possible. So I would like Caden Finley, the elite wide receiver, crucial Irish target. So there's a lot of guys, but how the fan base, I feel like the fan base with this class, and I'm there with you guys. It's like, this is really, really good so far, but is this going to be what we've seen recently, where it kind of finishes around 10 because you didn't land as many top guys as you wanted to, and then the class starts to fall down a little bit. So we're kind of in this wait and see mode. Are you able to land a bunch of your top guys, and it's like, oh man, June was incredible for us, or is it like, all right, July, August, we got to offer some new guys, like we saw with the receiver class last year, right? They missed out on many of their top guys in June, and then had to offer, like I think Scrap Richardson's got some potential, but the first time he ever played wide receiver was at Notre Dame spring practice this year. So it's like, do you have to go that route? So that's kind of the pulse on the class. Is it's in a really good spot, but this June is absolutely crucial. So we'll know a lot more. I'd say like mid-July when these guys start coming off the board.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I feel like every summer I do this where I get all excited and Notre Dame's in the top 5. And then at the end of it, when it's all said and done, you end up right around like 11 or 12 and like things happen. And then Mike, let me ask you this one. How do you insulate yourself from the issue of losing those top-rated guys that you've had in your class for a long time later in the cycle? That has been an issue that has affected Marcus Freeman's classes and killed the momentum and kind of the uplifting outlook that the fans have of the classes when you lose those top guys, and it's happened every cycle. How do you prevent that, man? There's only so much you could do. How do you stop that issue, man?
You could just stop recruiting the highly ranked, highly coveted guys. Just stop recruiting them.
Yeah.
Just don't even do it. Let's, little Jimmy from Idaho, Notre Dame fan who he just can't handle it. He just cannot handle the losing a top quarterback or a top safety. He just can't. So just don't recruit them. That's how you do it, John.
Yeah,
that's all the issue. Just stop recruiting good players. Because if you follow college football recruiting, if you just live in a Notre Dame bubble, then you just see Notre Dame and you're like, oh no, this keeps happening. John, it happens to every top program. Do you know how many kids flip from Alabama to Auburn, or flip from Auburn to Alabama, or flip from Florida to Florida State?
But I don't care about them. I only care about us in Notre Dame land,
I know, but that's
you're in a vacuum. We're in an Irish vacuum.
This is not something that's unique to Notre Dame. This happens to every school.
Yeah.
It just does. So if you want to recruit big time talent, part of what happens is big time talent go elsewhere. I have an article coming out today on Aiden Pouncey. This is fascinating. Does that last name Pouncey ring a bell to you?
It does,
John.
Yeah, from the old days.
His second cousins both played at Florida.
Yeah.
His 2 older brothers played at Florida, right? Pouncey told me when he announced his top 10 in January, Notre Dame was his 10th school. He told me that when Notre Dame was recruiting him and talking about academics, he didn't really care. He's not an academic kid. Does that sound like a kid that would end up at Notre Dame?
Yeah, not a fit.
No,
not a fit.
No.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame convinced him that academics is a big deal. Like, they convinced him about life after football. They made everything change for this kid. When he visited for the first time in March, he wasn't really even feeling it at the beginning of the visit. By the end of the visit, Notre Dame went from that 10th spot to like in his top 2 or 3. He visits again a month later and commits. Like, that is what we're seeing a change for Notre Dame going into Orlando, Florida, and landing an elite defensive back who grew up a Miami fan and had LSU after him, and Florida, and all those big time schools in the South, and he commits to Notre Dame. We're seeing a change in Notre Dame recruiting. Like, this is a recruit that Brian Kelly does not land. Like, Notre Dame does not land and sign Aiden Pouncey. So I know I'm kind of off topic from your specific question about decommitments, but it has me fired up and excited as someone who didn't grow up a Notre Dame fan like everyone tuning into your show. I'm excited for different reasons because I saw the tail end of Brian Kelly recruiting at Notre Dame and into now the Marcus Freeman era, and it's just different. It's exciting. And yeah, you might have a couple decommitments along the way. Some of those are Notre Dame initiated. Some of those are, the kid initiated it, and some of them Notre Dame is not really upset when the kid decommits. And then you have your Deuce Knights, your Keon Keeleys of the world. And
here's a little pushback, Mike. Here's a little pushback from our resident Ohio State fan. So be aware, this is coming from the Ohio State side. The thing is, Singer, if Bama or Georgia or Ohio State lose a top player, they immediately replace him with somebody better or ranked right underneath the kid. Notre Dame goes from a top 2 kid to 176. Does he have a fair point?
I mean, Notre Dame has beat Georgia. So, I mean, Notre Dame's doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't beat Ohio State. I mean, yeah, Ohio State's got a deeper, better roster than Notre Dame did last year. Look, yes, it's definitely a fair point. Notre Dame, as we all know, still they've made progress, but they can't recruit the same amount of kids that Alabama and Ohio State do due to academics. Like, it's not an excuse. It's just kind of the reality of the situation. And Notre Dame is still going to be a developmental program in some aspects. You don't want it to be half of your class is developmental kids, but yeah, Notre Dame is still going to have to go after some 3-star guys that they think have a lot of upside. Like Gordy Solstead is a 3-star defensive lineman that Notre Dame signed in the last class, and he didn't have all the elite offers in the country, but Notre Dame is extremely happy with him and thinks that he's just as good as a lot of the 4-star guys out there. So it's fair, but while we definitely talked about rankings in this segment, like they're also not the be all end all.
Yeah. And then Grubbs, we want to talk about this. There's a lot of questions about this. Did Notre Dame settle on him? Is he being weighed down by his fellow teammates or the conference he's in high school? Like, did Notre Dame settle, or like, what is the high end possibility here? I see some division in the fan base about their thoughts on him being the quarterback in that class. What do you make of it?
It's funny because like I feel the same about Noah Grubbs today as I did when he committed this time last year, and the fan base was like, "Oh man, this kid's the best," and now it's kind of like wavering on it. I'm like, I don't know what they've seen change, like their opinions. Like for me, it's the same. Like he can make all the throws in the world. He's got a little hitch in his throwing motion that I don't love. He's up there right now for like a week, so we'll see if Gino's able to work that out. It's not a huge problem. It's just I've seen him so many times, I've noticed it. He like has a big pat on the ball. If you know what I'm talking about. Some quarterbacks have pat the ball before they throw it.
Yeah,
Noah's is pretty noticeable to me. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe Notre Dame's fine with it, but that's just my opinion. He's gotten a little bit more athletic. I know he's been seeing a speed coach in the off season, and so he actually ran a 4.9 laser at the Elite 11, which 4.9 a laser time. It's like 4.7 hand time. It's not bad at all for a kid that's 6'4", 200 pounds or so, and athleticism is not the name of his game. He's improved in that area, and I mean, his team's pretty good. They just made a state title run last year. Now was at his spring game, and his line is, not great. And they played against arguably the best defensive line in the state of Florida. So he definitely struggled in that game, but did some good things with his legs I thought were encouraging. So, I mean, I think he's a really good quarterback. I mean, he's thrown for like 8,000 yards already at the high school level, and he's got a season left to go. There's a lot to work with. He's pretty much seen everything there is at the high school level. I mean, all the ups and the downs. He's got like, I think 40 career starts already or something like that. Like, I mean, that's something that's pretty rare at the high school level, especially big time ball in the state of Florida. But, he's got under 60% completion percentage. He's throwing a lot of picks. So there's pros and cons. I'm not like in one camp or the other yet, like, oh, this kid's an absolute stud, or why did Notre Dame take him? I'm kind of holding out for final judgment on how I feel about Noah as a recruit. Like, he does a lot of good things, and But then, I think there's some fair concerns as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, do you have a strong feeling about this Notre Dame quarterback thing when we get into camp in August? Would you expect it to be Carr and be surprised if it wasn't? What are you thinking about that? I mean, a lot of people think it's a totally done deal, and I'm not quite sure that it is, but it might be. So I don't know.
Yeah, Angeli for quarterback 1. That's what I think, man.
Yeah, well, that ship has sailed, my friend. That ship has sailed.
Wait, really?
So you're going to have to move
Wait,
on.
no, what? Wait, did I miss something?
I think I don't know, man. It's when it's Miami and A&M to start, this is a big deal, man. I want to know how it's going to go. I don't want to wait till August.
Look, I'm be honest with you. I think it would be Carr, but I think Minchie's got a real freaking shot at this thing. Like, he had a great spring.
I think that's a minority opinion, Mike.
Spring.
I think that's a minority opinion. I believe most people think this is Carr's job, and we just don't know it yet. And I think that you're in the minority with that opinion, to keep an open mind.
I mean, got to give a hat tip to our buddy Goolsby. And he was on this early.
Why not Kenny?
Why not Kenny? Yeah, for sure. Throw the hashtag on it as well. But like, going into spring ball, like, and this wasn't my opinion. Like, talking to people around the program, like, I thought that Kenny was on the outside looking in that I thought that they would go with Angeli because of those first 2 games. Just go with the seasoned vet who's not going to, turn the ball over and make the mistakes. And if it hits the fan, then you can go to CJ and kind of resurrect, get some more juice into the season. That's what I thought they were going to do. But I think that CJ and Kenny had incredible springs. And then I think Steve had a okay spring. I don't think he blew away, or he did what he needed. He did not do what he needed to do. So I don't know. The result doesn't shock you, but I really did think that they would have ended up going with Steve, because if they would have started the season against Central Michigan, then you don't need to go Steve. I thought they would have, but for the reason I just talked about with how spring ball went, that's a huge reason for why we are where we are. And then in terms of who I think is going to start, I'd probably say CJ. But dude, Kenny, like, we know that Denbrock loves the mobile quarterback.
He does.
And CJ can move, but Kenny, I don't think Kenny is like Riley Leonard back there, but maybe not yet in terms of athleticism, but like, he's doing a lot of good things that people in South Bend are impressed by.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. It's a big decision. You're on the big stage early in the year. Like, there's no easing into this thing. We're going from 0 to 100. One more thing for you.
Wait. Get Tex ND's comment off the screen. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
What the singer hates Carr because he pushed Angeli out?
That's it, man. Yeah, they pushed your boy out of town, man, and now we're creating the controversy.
I hate Carr.
It's big time summer conspiracy, man. That's the rumor on the streets. That's what it is,
bro. CJ was one of the nicest kids that I mean, like, one of the nicest recruits, one of my favorite recruits to ever cover.
Yeah.
His family is like tremendous people. Absolutely I love CJ and that family. Kenny, only got to talk to him once when he was a recruit and interact with his family a little bit. I mean, it was just such a late thing.
Yeah.
Flipping him from Pitt a month before signing day. So I don't know the Minchie family as well, but really nice kid.
Can I ask this? Dude, is the Carr family kind of like, does it come off like they don't big shot you with that last name and who grandpa was, but they're like down to earth, regular, nice people? Like, they don't come with all of that like entitlement that would come with that name. Is that kind of what you mean? The vibe, just more like normal people, even though they have all that history and credibility in the football world, that kind of thing?
As it relates to my interactions with them, 100%.
Yeah.
But is that what it is like in the building and around the program? Is there politics there? I honestly don't know, Darren. Jeez, I almost called you Darren. I do my shows with Darren Pritchett on the phone. John, yeah,
he doesn't like
I can't
me.
speak to that one way or another.
He doesn't like me very much. That's fine. But he's not a big fan. Always Irish, I don't think.
Well, neither am I, but here we are. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm not going to speak to, anything else but my interactions with the people. And I mean, I went and saw CJ play twice in person, and, some 7-on-7s, and, still on my camp, and, got to meet his parents on several occasions, and definitely great people and down to earth.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, Mike, there's a lot of good things happening in this program. A lot's changed in 3 years. You actually have some skins on the wall here in the playoff. Like, momentum should be trending the right way. Big picture, Mike, if you zoom out, Freeman is out of that new learning coach, getting your foundation under you. We're exiting that time, and we should be entering what should be the beginning of Marcus Freeman's prime at Notre Dame this next few years of window. Man, I'm interested in that. I want to see if he could get this thing over the hump.
Do you want me to tell you if I think they're going to win a national championship or something?
I'm just throwing it out there that, like, you're entering this, what I think is the winning window here, but you need a few things to hit that haven't quite all hit on all cylinders yet. If you could add those couple things, get a better passing game, a quarterback more natural at doing that, whatever, a couple little spots here, you're in a good spot. I mean, I'm not asking if they're going to win it, or that's the $1 million question, but they're going to be in position to do it, I think, if they navigate this the right way.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, especially if one of these young QBs hits, and now
changes a lot.
We all love Riley. Yeah, we all love Riley, but like, he left a lot to be desired as a downfield passer, like a consistent downfield passer. I mean, two of the worst interceptions I've ever seen were off his arm. So, you get a kid, like a Kenny or CJ who, they're mobile, but can also just dice you up in the pocket. And, I'm seeing so much hype about this receiver room, and it's talented, but I'm kind of, I don't want to buy into the hype because I feel like I've been burned so many times on it.
Totally fair. But that is totally fair. Like, I understand the optimism.
There's just a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, with the wide receiver in the passing game, I understand the optimism. You feel a little better about the transfers coming in, and you feel like you can count on some of the guys in-house a little more. You think you're going to have a quarterback more natural at getting the ball out to him. But I'm believing when I see it, man. It has been a struggle. And if you start throwing around against Miami comfortably, I'm interested. But like you said, I'm wait and see on that. It's been – Don't you agree that's like the one part that kind of hasn't been near title level to me? And they still almost pulled it off, even with that part not being where I think it needed to be. They still almost did it.
Yeah. And I think another thing you could say is that, pass rush without blitzing. But, I mean, with Traore and Botelho out, I mean, there's your two best pass rushers. So, I think getting those guys back is going to be huge. Like, dude, Traore is an absolute freak show. Like, he's going to be an NFL player. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind about it. And so, I mean, I think your pass rush is going to be improved. The linebackers are going to be really solid. Defensive backfield is, it's incredible what they keep losing there. And it's just like, all right, like, you lose Watson Morrison, it's still going to be excellent this season. But I will say, when I talk about the receivers, I kind of view that more as like from a fan standpoint. Like, I'm with you guys on that. Whereas, like, the whole, like, Thomas Davis Jr., the linebacker commit for the Irish, he just took an official visit to Georgia, and the fan standpoint is he's gone. Whereas I kind of come with here's some context. I have my reporter hat on, but when I talk about the receivers and the passing game, I take my reporter hat off. I'm going all subjective on it. I'm going on feeling, and I'm like, Malachi Fields, are you Bo Collins 2.0, or are you really like one of the best wide receivers in college football, as some people in the national media are saying you are? Like, I feel kind of burned on it for the past few years.
Goolsby is questioning. He does not like ACC football at all, and he doesn't respect it, and he thinks nobody's good. And he's like, I'm hesitant to buy in on Fields because I just don't buy anything that happens in that ACC. So he's like, wait and see. I see a Brandon Marshall type body, but I'm wait and see because I don't believe any numbers that happen in the ACC.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what he's been saying about the Duke and North Carolina and some of those. Yeah, ACC. I mean, Leonard was definitely a positive project, but yeah, Goolsby's made a fair point on that over the years, man.
Yeah, and then one more thing we got to ask. It's been coming up in the chat. Do you have a sleeping child near you? People think you're sneaking off to talk quietly, and is your kid sleeping in the other room or something?
She 100% is. But the thing is, I've been sitting this entire time. If I were on a walk or if I were pacing around my house, I'm a completely different energy. But yeah, I've just been sitting, so that's why. So I apologize if I'm not bringing the usual energy.
There you go, man. Hey, thanks for giving me a call, man. Really do appreciate the time, and let's see what happens with Notre Dame the rest of the way in this recruiting cycle. We can't get to August soon enough for me.
Yeah, looking forward to it, John. It's always good to catch up with you and I'm scrolling the chat. I have a lot of familiar names, and then of people who watch my show as well, and then a lot of people I've blocked from my show. Hello to the haters. Hope you guys are doing well. See you, John.
See ya. Have a good one. Thanks, Mike. It's always good to have a little crossover there. I'd be down to invade some Miami channels. Yeah, there's a few on my list already. I'd like to do that too. So I don't know, but yeah, good to talk to the guy with the inside recruiting scoops here. Dude, it's not my place to tell people what I don't know what happened on those other shows or who's on what channel or whatever. I don't know. That's not my business. I got enough trouble keeping my own show on the rails. A little better today than it was Wednesday. All right, folks, that's going to be it for the show. I got to be at 11, gives me 20 minutes. That made perfect timing to be able to do this. I didn't get into anything I wanted to talk about with Notre Dame being favored and going over these point spreads and everything. It'll give us something good to do. It'll give us something good to do on Friday. So that'll be good. Yeah, man, I do agree with that, Pat. That is kind of fair. Really good behavior. And it's just good to see that where everybody's sobering up around here. Everybody's sobering up and they're on the straight and narrow now today. Monday, not so much, but now everybody's on the straight and narrow. Everybody's sobered up. They're on their best behavior. Oh, man. You guys, this was better today. So thanks for everybody for jumping in and being a part of it. And then Friday, we will go over these some of these games and these spreads that I think are very, very interesting. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We had a better day today. I feel better about it. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the chats. We'll see you guys on Friday.